I want to tell you about a mod called Create Big Cannon Ballistics, or CBC Ballistics for short. It adds a range of tools which you can use to precisely aim your cannons. I was actually pretty impressed that there is no tutorial about this mod on YouTube. When I downloaded this mod, I found literally no tutorial on YouTube, so I'm probably going to be the first one to make a tutorial on it. It's one of the best mods I've ever found for CBC. First, we have a cannon controller. What does a cannon controller do? A cannon controller is this thing which actually aims your cannon in the right direction to precisely aim your cannon. Secondly, we have a ballistics calculator. A ballistics calculator is a block which allows you to... It's basically a computer which does the calculation of the trajectory of flight using the coordinates of your target. And the last block we have is the artillery coordinator. The artillery coordinator allows you to coordinate your artillery. I know that sounds weird, but basically allows you to control your ballistics calculator remotely, fire the cannon remotely, or join a bunch of cannons together into a network. So let me now explain how all of this works. Firstly, the first thing you're gonna do is access your computer, and you're gonna put in your XYZ of the position of your cannon, the minimum and the maximum angle you want your cannon to raise up or down. I just leave it like this because it's already set to minimum and maximum raise and stuff. The length of your cannon, the minimum and maximum charges you want to use. What it means by charges and like the range is basically how much charges, basically when it calculates the trajectory of light, it can tell you the amount of charges would be the best to use to hit the target precisely. Because if you use one number of charges, it's not going to be as flexible, and you might not be able to hit some further closer targets. I just use cartridges. These big cartridges, which have 4 powder charge in them, which means I just set both of these to 4, but I'm gonna show you later how to see how much charges you need to precisely shoot, because this computer is gonna tell you that. But anyways, if you want only one number, you just set one number right here. Then you set the target. It's X, Y, and Z. To set your X, Y, Z of your target, you have this rangefinder tool. It just works like an almost spyglass, but you can aim and then click on an object, and then it gives you the coordinates of the object. Any object you want, just click on it and it gives you the coordinates. When you have the coordinates, you just right click the ballistics calculator, and it automatically puts in the coordinates of the target into your computer. Next, what we want to do is select the material which your cannon is built from. So there's steel, nether steel, cast iron, and whatever, bronze, and yeah. When you put in all your settings, you can press calculate, and then it gives you all this stuff like the pitch you need, the amount of charges you need, and whatever. This is also displacement and precision and different stuff like that. Also, a pretty important part is time. Basically, it tells you the time of the arrival of your shot to that position. So if I shoot the cannon, then in precisely 10.6 seconds, the shot is going to hit the target. And the last thing you need to know about the ballistics calculator is the direct or indirect mode. Indirect mode makes the cannon shoot over the target in like a big arch to avoid any obstacles on the way. And then direct shoots directly at the target. It still shoots it a bit up, so it it copes the gravity, because the gravity will slowly pull the shot down, so it copes that, but it will shoot straight at the target. So if you will have any obstacles in the way, it will hit that obstacle. Okay, let me show you how to build a cannon with these tools. First thing you're gonna do is place your cannon mount. It doesn't matter which cannon mount you use, at least I don't think so. I haven't tested with other cannon mounts, but I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to vary. And then you build your cannon. You can assemble it straight away. Now when you have your cannon, you need to follow these steps. Firstly, you put in your cannon controller. this is going to be controlling your cannon. If you have ever played great raiders, big cannon raiders, then it's a little bit different. Firstly, what you would think is probably you need to place one cannon with this side facing here and then there, which is wrong. Don't do that, that's not gonna work. You need to place your mount facing outwards, so one of these sides, not the back, is supposed to be touching your cannon. You don't need two, you just need one beside your cannon. Then you take your source of power, I'm just gonna use a creative motor, and you input it with some stress units. This speed will directly change the speed of the rotation of your cannon. Second, you put your ballistics calculator. I don't think it's supposed to be right beside the cannon, but I like to put it right here. That's just a bit more nice. Let me actually put it outwards like this somewhere, so I can show you what this network looks like. Anyways, now what we do is we place in the coordinates of the position of your cannon. What I like to do for this step is just use my rage fighter to click on that block, and it shows me the coordinates of it. Now the length of your cannon, I have 9 blocks, and I'm gonna use only one set of charges, which are gonna be 4. The cannon is made of steel. That's it. Now the ballistics calculator is set up fully. Now the artillery controller, which I actually forgot to talk about. The artillery controller allows you to, in the same way, you can select any target and click on the artillery coordinator, and it will automatically send that information to your ballistics calculator, which is going to calculate that for you. And then you can choose the modes here, which is going to get sent all to the computer and fire remotely. Also, this block speaks to your cannon controller, and it changes the direction of your cannon automatically and not manually, as in if you would just calculate it right here, then you would have to manually put in all of those. I hope that makes sense. So what you do now to join all of this up together, you use something called a network manager. To use it and connect them together, you hold shift and you right click. Now it's connected to this artillery controller. Then you shift and right click on your director, and it joins them up, so you can see they're in one network. And last, you connect it to your controller like this, and now they're all connected. You can also see all of their placements and stuff if you just hover over the network manager. If you want to connect to a different network, you just shift and you right click into the empty space, and that's what makes you go into a different network. If I click back to one of those blocks, it's going to send me straight back to that network. As you can see, this network ID is LOGAW, and then if I go into my artillery controller, you can see the ID is LOGAW. Now the system is fully set up, so we can load our cannon, select the target. For example, let's make this tree. Now we right click at the artillery controller, we press set. This sets the cannon in the right position to hit the target. Right now we're actually gonna miss because it's set to indirect, and this is too close of a range to use in an indirect mode. So let's set it to direct and then set again. By the way, and notice guns means how much guns is connected to the network, and ready is how much guns are ready to fire, so they're in the position. When the cannon is set, you press fire. Oh. And we hit our target. This is how you precisely aim the gun. Let's choose another target. The gun is ready. We can see our time. Oh yes, sorry, I forgot to reload the cannon. Let's fire. It went through the target, but I think that's good enough. Anyways, I think you get the point. This is a nice system, but you would say it's a bit inconvenient because if you go in a distance and you need to access the artillery, you will always need to run up to it and then use this the artillery controller, coordinator, sorry. This is exactly why I have a radio set. The radio set allows you to shift right click on an artillery controller to connect it and pair it to it. The default button to control the controller will be R, but I actually set it to another button. Anyways, you will not be able to access it unless it's on your body, so you're supposed to wear it and then you can access your controller from a distance. This is pretty useful, especially if you use a chunk loader, because that means then you can go on any distance away from your cannon. I can select any target like this house. Also, a really cool thing when you have a radio, it shows you the trajectory of light of your shot. Okay, so when it's ready, you press fire and it shoots. And we hit our target. Also recommend to auto load your cannons, so you don't need to manually go to them and reload them, and you can basically from any point in the world just shoot at something. Let me show you my network of cannons I was talking about. Basically it's 5 cannons all grouped into one network. So if you look closely here, I have one artillery controller connected to all of these ballistic calculators and all of their controllers. If I go in this chest, I can see I have my radio here with new coordinates because it's a different radio connected to a different controller. And now this system has lots of destructive power because all of these cannons are auto-loaded, so I can go in any point of the world if it's in the range of the cannons and demolish them with the massive explosions. As you can see around here, I did lots of testing. For now, let me just show you one test launch. Let's select this spot. Let's set it to direct. This spot. As you can see now, it has lots of lines because I have 5 cannons. So it has 5 lines. Let's set the cannons. Now they're ready. And fire. A direct hit. Let's choose this tree. Set the cannons. Let me also, for demonstration, because my shader removes the blast of the cannons, I'm going to turn them off for a second to show you how epic those look. Let's set the cannons. And fire. Ooh. Okay, yeah, that was actually my fault. I set the trajectory a bit in a weird way. Let's fire again. That's it. Straight through the tree. Now let me show you in indirect mode. In indirect mode cannot be used close to the cannon because the cannon cannot aim up enough, which basically there's like a margin in which it can aim up, and then if it aims too low, it just like counts as direct, so it will not let you shoot in an indirect mode too close to the cannon. It's a bit weird, but if I set it to indirect and then try and use my spyglass right here, actually yeah, that's in the range. If I go a bit farther though, you can see that it goes far away like this because that's the closest I can hit with an indirect mode. That's it. Anyways, let's go into its radius of the indirect cannon mode and select a target. Now we set the cannons and we shoot. It's gonna take 10 seconds for the arrival. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Ooh, I started counting a bit late there, but you get the point. Let's get this little house right here. Set the cannons. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's absolutely demolished. There are other modes like accurate. I'm not really sure what accurate does, but I think it just groups the indirect together, though it is pretty grouped already. Or, oh yeah, also you can use a precise mode. The precise mode, it can have some of them fly indirect and some direct. Basically, it just tries to get as accurate as possible to the target, I'm pretty sure. Or it just has that big coverage, because that's like what it always does. It just splits them. Let me show you how that works on some house. Actually, that would be too far. But I prefer just to use either direct or indirect. Let's shoot it direct. Fire. Well, let's try indirect if that's in the range. As you can see, it's not in the range, but let me just show you how it looks anyways. It's really beautiful. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this little tutorial and a review of the mode. Yeah, I'm not really like experienced in doing these kind of tutorials, but I hope it was useful because I couldn't figure this mode out by myself. It took me like a day to figure everything out, so I hope it was pretty useful. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'm probably gonna end with like a little cinematic.